Yeah.
And now I want to talk about something. I want to talk about the poll that shows Democratic Party enthusiasm going into 2022 midterm election is 41% and Republicans is 60%. And they say that is the sign of a massacre, that we will lose 40 seats. We're not going to lose 40 seats. We lose 5, American democracy ends, period.
Yeah.
Every one of you that's listening to this show, you had better get it up and start saying, I'm going to stand, I'm going to mobilize everyone that I know so this is another 2018. Because if we don't, then you're going to have that Russian-loving autocrat in power.
Yeah. By the way, you know who's not giving up? Nancy Pelosi is running, it will not retire. You know, she and Ruth Bader Ginsburg were going to retire when Hillary got in, because they would feel like democracy is safe. Democracy is not safe, and, you know, there is a lot of work to be done. Stephen Beschloss echoed you, Malcolm. He said, in less than 11 months, Americans will cast their votes to decide whether or not they want to end democracy. Let's hope enough Americans think holding on to self-governance is worth taking action. I mean, that's what it's all about.
We are our biggest problem. I am sick of the people with their single issue. I didn't get criminal justice reform. I didn't get climate change. I need something from Joe Biden. The end of American democracy is what you need to stand up and fight for. I know I get all shouty about this subject because I'm from Philadelphia and everything, and I love the way it was written right down the block from where I grew up. Okay, I think the American experiment is worth fighting for. Stand up and fight.
You, Jennifer Rubin, by the way, you brought up Ukraine and impeachment. She said maybe Republicans should have impeached or removed Trump for extorting Ukraine. It would have sent a message to Putin and ended the stomach-turning appeasement of NATO's biggest foe. I mean, so many what-ifs that, you know, Bill Barr and Mike Pence and all these people didn't speak out during the second impeachment to keep this madman from the nuclear codes again. And now here we are, right?
Yeah, and you know what? In less than 11 months... now going on 10 months, I said it at least 5 times on this show, Dr. Jason Johnson predicted correctly, because the Republicans are now mimicking it, that in order to humiliate Nancy Pelosi, when they take back the House, they will vote Donald Trump in as Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
And he will use that position, the number 3 position of power, which means that if something happens to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, he becomes president. They will use that position as a springboard to destroying everything done before FDR and put him back in the White House. This is all hands on deck.
You might want to call your friend Bill Maher and tell him to stop with the Biden bashing. And the Biden's too old and he can't run again. And Kamala Harris has forget her because her ratings are too low. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bill Maher is one guy, but I'll tell you this much. I hear this from Democrats and independents and, you know, former Republicans like myself all the time. Everyone thought they would have the second coming of FDR. And when they didn't get voting rights, they're done. They're done. They're saying they're not going to vote.
Yeah.
Why in God's name would we allow everything to be destroyed? Why would we allow an arsonist to put fire all around the American democracy since 1776 or 1783 when the Constitution was ratified? Because you didn't get item du jour. Now is the time to stand up and fight. When
and you know what? We get whatever chunks of Build Back Better and voting rights. No, of course it's not ideal, but we get the best we can, and then we turn out in massive numbers and get the rest. You go back and get the rest. That's politics. That's Medicare. That's Social Security.
Enthusiasm. We got to get our enthusiasm back up.
Yeah.
All these people are like, oh, Joe Biden didn't speak like Donald Trump. That's what I'm getting from the news media. They want entertainment from the president. They don't want competence. They don't want, you know, there's people saying that Eric Bollard, has he been on yet?
Yes.
Did he talk about the fake polls that they're having now?
Yeah.
The focus groups?
Yeah.
I miss everything. Eric is calling it.
Yeah.
They supposedly got half of the Joe Biden voters, all of them, hated Joe Biden. The media is out to put the narrative that Democrats can't govern after 5 years of Donald Trump.
Yeah. And by the way, as Eric said, 80% of Democrats support Joe Biden. It's like, you know, And you just have to keep shouting right up until the midterms. Can I get your put on your terrorism analyst hat real quick? Department of Homeland Security issued a threat warning that right-wing extremists have been crafting plans to attack the electric sector, including the power grid. One report said white supremacists expressed interest in wreaking havoc on the power grid if Trump were to lose re-election in 2020. Russian hackers, here we are again, full circle, discovered in 2018 that infiltrating critical infrastructure in the U.S. like power plants, water facilities, and gas pipelines. This is where the right wing meets Russia, meets all of the people that do not have America's interests at heart. What are your fears on the power grid? I mean, here we are again, right? We're Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me consult my new forthcoming book.
They want to kill Americans.
On the section on attacks on the power grid. These attacks have already happened. Now we're starting to understand. We have seen over the last 3 years, the right wing extremists and militias have threatened to knock down entire electrical grids of liberal cities, of liberal areas. Yeah. They want to bring the pain to the United States. And the simplest thing to do is take a 50 caliber rifle or a sniper rifle and just shoot out transformers. You need to be on guard about this, but that's the least of what they want to do. Yeah. They are now seriously, I mean, they just had, what was his name? Jesse Kelly, right? At Jesse, talking about trials for every.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, he froze.
The power grid is frozen, Malcolm Nance.
There,
like, that's
no, he's
a coincidence.
Back. He's back.
Now he's back. Okay. Coincidence.
You froze for a second there, Malcolm.
Takes a lot of planning. Okay, we love you, Malcolm Nance. They Want to Kill Americans is the new book. We love you, Malcolm Nance. See you next week.